Defense leaders of NATO and some 50 other countries have converged on Ramstein Air Base in Germany to discuss a new package of military aid for Ukraine, one that centers on a key weapon, modern battle tanks. Russia has slammed the meeting, adding it is unlikely to change the course of the conflict. But Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky, who addressed the gathering virtually, suggested otherwise.
I encourage you to make such decisions that can deprive Russian even of any power. You can start this policy today. It is in your power to make a Ramstein of tanks, not to bargain about different numbers of tanks, but to open a principled supply that will stop Russian evil.
U.S. Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin offered a new package of arms and munitions worth $2.5 billion. Finland has also announced a $434 million package that includes heavy artillery but no tanks. All eyes now on Germany as pressure mounts on Berlin to greenlight the supply of crucial Leopard 2 tanks. Let's get more from Trent Murray. He joins us live from Berlin. Trent, we heard there the U.S. committing military aid, including armored vehicle, to the tune of $2.5 billion, but no tanks. Where then does that leave Germany and its consideration of supplying Leopard tanks to Kyiv?
Well, it leaves Berlin under a lot of pressure, not just from Ukraine, but from European allies and the US as well. That is because Germany has a really crucial role in all of this. The Leopard 2 is a German-made tank, and it has sold around 2,000 of them to countries across Europe. But because of the way the contract works, those countries are not allowed to sell them on or give them away unless Berlin gives the green light. So a number of countries, including Poland and a number of the Baltic states, have indicated very publicly, look, we want to give some of our Leopard tanks to Ukraine. But so far, Chancellor Olaf Scholz is really dragging his feet on this, and he's worried it could escalate the war more, and therefore he's holding those tanks back, much to the annoyance of a number of allies and Ukraine as well. Going into that meeting, we heard from the Polish Prime Minister. He said he was moderately pessimistic about the question of whether tanks would be given. We also know some of the Baltic nations are preparing to possibly offer some of their own. The big question, though, is possibly a situation where a country like Poland may just give the tanks away anyway, ignoring Berlin's veto, which would cause a huge diplomatic rift. But that is sort of the stage we're getting at. Lloyd Austin, the Secretary of Defense from the US, is, of course, leading these talks. He said it's time for allies to dig deeper to help Kyiv. Let's have a listen to what he had to say.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is a crucial moment. Russia is regrouping, recruiting, and trying to re-equip. This is not a moment to slow down. It's a time to dig deeper. The Ukrainian people are watching us. The Kremlin is watching us. And history is watching us.
Trent, should the officials reach an agreement on sending Kyiv those crucial tanks, explain to us the significance on the battlefield.
Well, these particular tanks are amongst the most respected in the world. They're extremely advanced, very fast, a lot of heavy firepower. They have night vision, strong armour as well to protect the troops inside. And as the weather starts to warm up here, there is very clear indications from European and US intelligence that the Russians are preparing to launch some quite major offensives in the spring. And going into those offensives, the Ukrainians believe that if they can get their hands on modern Western tanks, it will have a huge boost to their strength and ability to be able to defend and also take back territory which the Russians are holding. So right now we are just having to wait and see what happens. But certainly if you're a soldier on the battlefield, you'd much prefer to be in a modern Western tank than you would an older Soviet one, or even, just running across a field with a rifle. So that is why Ukraine wants them. What we should say, though, is the time really is now, because it will take time to train crews on these tanks. And that is why Ukraine is saying, if you're going to make a decision, you need to make it now, because we need time to train our troops to drive them.
All right, then we leave it there. Trent Murray, thank you so much reporting live there from Berlin.